is being talked down to, being the prop, being rescued, being dismissed and disposed of at the end of every movie and just replaced with another Bond boy, just being kicked out of bed, literally. And
you ever notice how they had to like come up with special way, like that was one of the gimmicks in the Bond movie. It was like, okay, how does he kick her out of bed?
Right, kicking her out of bed, like like you said, touching on her sexuality. Are they going to go that route, and is it going to be kicking him out of bed now? And they're just going to say she's a hoe, she's a Mary Sue, she's all of those things, because that part of it is what really gives guys shrinkage. That part is what really gives them shrinkage. And so that part, no, men definitely aren't ready for, watching a man, a stud of a man, being silent and pretty while the important characters talk, being the sidekick or the sub, like those kinds of things. No, definitely men are not ready for. Now, it does depend, because if the movie comes off like a social experiment, where it's just the new female Bond talking down to, old Bond and, just browbeating him with, 40 years of all of this cartoonish, misogynistic history. I guess so. I guess, that's one way to go with it. But, no one wants to watch a social experiment. Everyone's always ready for a good movie. And just going from the little like teaser they showed, I don't think they're going in that route. I think that they're going to make it its own thing regardless. And I always say that when you have to change it that much, name recognition isn't that important. Just make it something else. Let Bond die. Let the whole genre die. Let the whole thing die. Give us a good, solid, independent character away from what, let's be honest, never were great movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved Bond when I was 12. But I'm over the formula, I'm over the recasting, I'm over all of it. Like, I'm ready to just leave that dead and buried and give us a good female spy movie, female-led spy movie.
Does make some sense. So you're really thinking though that they should change it more then, and not really stick to the idea, and not even necessarily address the idea of how does she handle it. How does
name recognition goes a couple of ways. There's name recognition like, hey, and then there's name recognition like, oh. And right now, Bond is definitely more eye roll and more, why are they doing this again? And remember, when we say that people who like the formula, Bond's got a big female following. A lot of women like James Bond. They even liked, how old was Sean Connery when he last did? He was like 56 years old. He was really old when he did his last Bond movie. A lot of women like Bond. Was
that Never Say Never Again?
Oh.
Was that the last one he was in?
I can't remember. It's the time that one with him and Roger Moore both came out at the same time. And
that must have been Never Say Never Again. Yeah, which was which amusingly enough is Thunderball. It's all the same.
Right?
It's exactly. But no, it literally is. It through a really weird, little like legal loophole. Mm-hmm. Somebody else had the rights to the movie Thunderball, and and basically they talked him into doing that movie again, which is pretty wild, because he'd already made it once, and he
retired,
and he'd long since left the role behind and had done other things successfully too. It wasn't like he just died on the Bond tree, but
right.
And then they're like, "Come on,
last Bond movie for Connery was Never Say Never."
Yeah,
again.
Never Say Never.
Again.
How old was he?
It was in '83. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot, you're going to run into that because a lot of women love the formula. They love Bond. They did not like Daniel Craig because they didn't think that he was a Bond enough Bond. You're going to lose, you're going to lose a lot of people who are just going to outright reject another Bond movie because it's going to feel like a remake on top of something formulaic that's already dated, that's been done to death.
certainly it's definitely a well-trodden path. That's fair to say.
Yeah, and I mean, personal opinion, I think that it's got a uphill climb either way.
I don't think it's an easy. I don't think it's an easy take. I don't think it is. And curious though, of course, because we speak to each other quite freely and quite frankly. Real quick impression going the direction of a female Bond versus a black Bond, because of course there was talk of Idris Elba being the next Bond at one point. I'm gonna swoon, man. I'll swoon over Idris Elba. I'll bid it. I'll own that shit. But he was quote unquote too street. Yeah, okay. Even though they're in England, we know what they're saying. He said it with an English accent, kind of a Cockney accent, like Dick Van Dyke. And
they got scared because he lied his way onto the wire, and they're like, "Well, there are real criminals on that set, so obviously this guy from London must be the toughest fucking bastard out there because he lied to people who know criminals."
That's
scary, but. Yeah, your take on that? I mean, would you have preferred, as a black man?
They're doing black female Bonds, so
okay, yeah, it's true. We're getting best of both worlds.
So this is huge. I mean, I feel like the person that gets picked for Bond again, you know what? It goes back to what women want. There's certain traits that Bond is supposed to have. I mean, we're in it for the cars, the gadgets, the explosions, and the Bond girl. Right. Who is Bond? Yeah, I could totally leave that up to women. And pretty much every woman I spoke to, not just black women, everyone said, fuck yeah, Idris Elba. Why wouldn't you pick Idris Elba? Like, what, stupid? You pick Idris Elba. And when that fell through, a lot of people... check it out. There's a lot of literature written. Like, people were genuinely disappointed when they found out it wasn't going to be Idris Elba.
I gotta say, as the whitest guy on this show by far, get to trade in on my Jewish heritage. Just a little bit, just to sort of skim the edges there, just a little bit, but whatever.
Speaking as somebody who only thinks he's as cool as Idris Elba when he's so fucked up.
Oh yes,
I can honestly say that it makes perfect sense. I mean, the man. I mean, you can't get more vibe than this man. Like, he's got it.
No, without
but at the same time, it's the same reason they told Nat King Cole, "Don't sing to the white women." They know.
Oh yeah,
that's true. They know it's going to go down. All your daughters. All your daughters.
They're going to be smoking the weed.
Right.
We got to take the cocaine out of the Coca-Cola because it makes them more violent.
Listening to all that hot music.
Listening to that jazz music. Getting them all excited. Well, I got to say, as I say, as by far the whitest member of this show, trading off of what little ethnicity I got, I would have gone Idris too. I'm just saying, like total, and I can totally own. I can totally own that. I did like Daniel Craig. I'm going to be honest. I really liked Daniel Craig's Bond.
I like Daniel Craig too.
I also liked Timothy Dalton's Bond, which they were very similar, right? Because they were both gritty. They weren't as suave. They
more
were
rugged.
Just, they were a little more. And a little more about the violence necessarily than the gimmick and the plot. But
because of Flash Gordon, I always expected Timothy Dalton to bleed green in all the Bond movies.
Absolutely.
Because of Flash Gordon, I was just always waiting. Like, I know where you're from, fucker. You can't hide it from me. Ming's right around the corner. I'll tell.
And that's the first time, but most that we all saw him. And then later on, as I grew up, you see him in A Man for All Seasons. Or is it Man for All Seasons? No, Lion in Winter. Excuse me.
Lion in the Winter. Yeah.
Lion in Winter. Excuse me. Mixing up my British royalty films. Fantastic piece there. But then you want him to make out with Anthony Hopkins, which he's doing in that movie, right? Because he's got the crush on him there. So he's got a lot to, Timothy Dalton has a lot going on for him there. A lot of potential, a lot of acting chops, but. Nevertheless, we gave you your time, Brother Greg, and wonderfully done. Excellent points made. Definite grist for that mill. I have watched Brother RaShaun hold himself back itching to get in there. Itching to get.
I'm saying, like, the point is to give RaShaun the last word. Like,
absolutely. Well, let's get in here. Let's give Brother RaShaun his say. Then we'll mix it back up a little bit, and then I want to lead us out of here with a final thought. But let's bring it back over to the 3 of clubs. Let's hope we got an 18 in the deck here to help put us over the top. What you got for us today?
No, man, we're playing hard today. We're shooting for the fucking moon. All right, so here we go. A couple of things to just clean up because, I mean, wow, we're trying to get our hate mail all the way up. Then, yeah, let's go ahead and start talking monolithically for entire groups of people. I won't claim to know what women want. I won't claim to know what men want. I won't claim to actually change definitions of what the word objectification means. It's pretty right up front what it means, but I'll leave all that aside. All I actually would focus on in this topic, because it is an interesting topic, and to be fair, the latter points that my man Star Child dropped on us were pretty damn salient. I would actually go to a couple of different things. One, I would look at what actually is Bond. What is James Bond? What did Ian Fleming really want to do? Because it seems like if we're going to change things, you might want to go back to the source. And looking at some of the source documents, the man literally wanted to have a compound of secret agents and commandos that he knew in World War II. So that right there, just go ahead and put the a little bit more definition on what Bond actually is. Is he true spy like Tinker Tailor? What was it called?
Soldier. John Le Carré.
No. He wasn't ever supposed to be that, but he wasn't also supposed to be basically the Jason Statham of a situation where like he's giving guns in a car and that's it. You're done. It's the whole movie. He was always supposed to be a combination. So I think understanding that, the irony of everything Matt Damon said was like, actually, no, you end up being exactly what Bond was supposed to be on the action side. He was supposed to be a combination of the two. That's kind of where they went to. I think also when we talk about the camp of Bond, we also have to think about when it's being made. These things aren't being done in a vacuum. People aren't just coming up with the idea of what Bond movies are away from other movies that are being made and trying to figure out, okay, what makes money and what doesn't, and we don't give a shit. These movies are actually built in time and in line with the movies that are being made at the same time, sometimes being a trendsetter, but other times actually just following suit. So a lot of the campiness was part of the campiness of the 60s. A lot of the weird shit was part of the weird shit of the 70s. We talk about how bad the movies actually are. Yeah, it's because when you go back and watch those movies, all these movies, not just Bond, but all of them, and to a certain extent, we still do movies this way, are designed to put these people in improbable situations, impossible situations, and they have them come out unscathed. That's the hardest part about watching a lot. Like, forget the sexuality for a second. We'll get to that. But that's the hardest part about watching all the Bond movies up until like maybe the last couple, even though you know who's going to live. But still, it's like you literally watch these guys in these diabolical situations. They've already been lampooned all to hell. But the point of it, like, you see them being put in these impossible situations, and the guy was like, well, Mr. Bond, I'm going to lower you into a tank of these fucking shark. And there's no way it can fucking go wrong. So I'm just going to walk out and not even watch it. Like, I know that Austin Powers already got to this, but still, that's the most salient point about goddamn Bond movies, and the reason why they never really hold up is because you get these guys who can literally, like, what was the one where the guy could change the goddamn weather?
Was that Goldeneye?
Goldeneye? Yeah, it was Goldeneye.
It was Goldeneye. I think so.
So what the fuck are you doing? Just messing around with one guy. You literally are able to do shit with satellites and fuck around with weather, and you're getting tripped up by one fucking person. One fucking person. Like, I don't even understand why these movies even have guns anymore. Like, what the fuck's the point of it? I don't get it. Like, you literally have 1,000 men shooting at one person. They put Star Wars on blast. Bond movies literally make stormtroopers look like goddamn marksmen. Because I don't know what the fuck these guys are shooting at. You literally will have Bond in one goddamn closet, 100 people shooting in the same area, and they were like, well, drop the molten on them and we'll really get them. And then they'll even fucking open up the closet. Just walk away. Just literally walk away. Leave everything intact. Don't do anything. Just walk away. And then, all of a sudden, who fucking busted us? Bond. Now, if you want to go into the next step of if